Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Capital A. I'm your host, Ads. Today's lesson will be about session candles and how the banks manipulate them. A session candle is a candle that is opened at the same time a particular session has. So for example, 8 a.m., London opens, the economy backed by the pound has just woken up, it's just come alive. People are waking up, grabbing a coffee, using their Oyster card, so on and so on. This causes a reaction in the markets that once you gain the real understanding of what they are doing, can become a really powerful trading method. So 1 p.m., New York opens. So a similar thing is happening the other side of the world. They are just waking up. People are riding the subway, buying a corn dog on the street corners of New York. All of this happening has an impact in the markets, especially in the pound and US dollar. This will be our main focus throughout this lesson. So be sure, have your pens and notepads at the ready and take some notes. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me with any queries you may have. I have recently set up my own company teaching people how to learn this skill, how to trade. Be sure to check out all the powerful content I have coming up this year by hitting the subscribe button here and notifications bell to stay up to date with any new content that I will be posting. Some of it requires immediate attention. If you want to reach out to me personally, then send me a direct message via Instagram, which is here. That's adstar10_FX. Before we get started, I want you to understand that someone is manipulating these markets. And when I say someone, I'm talking about the big banks, the big financial institutions. So what you need to understand is how they mark certain areas and then return to them with price action. Let's get started. Okay, guys, here we go. Basically, what I'm just going to do with you now is take you through the session candles lesson. So let's get straight into it. And again, we'll just be looking at a few things that you'll be learning. What is a session candle? We'll be looking at the London and New York Open, the golden time of the day. We'll be looking at the Euro pound trade, and we'll be looking at the closing times. And then we'll be talking about the relevance of all of this. And then there'll be a little task at the end for you to go away in the charts and improve. Okay, so a session candle is the candle that opened the same time a particular session did. Okay, so for example, like we said, the London at 8 a.m. These candles are being formed around the time of the day when we know the market makers have just started and will be placing positions in the market to aim for liquidity. So this liquidity is where all the money is building up from the retail traders, and they aim to go take that. It's important to be aware of what happens when price returns to these candles around another opening time in the future. Okay, so like I've been mentioning, the London Open and the New York Open. Okay, so here we are. This is our first look at the charts. We'll just take a quick look at how it all works. So here in our first highlighted yellow candle, what we have is the London Open. Okay, that was the minute that it opened. This is an hour time frame. So 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 a.m. price shot down. London Open that day, price was sold down. Okay, 2 days later, price returns to the very same area at the very same time, 8 a.m. And again, as you will see here, it starts to make its move to the upside. And I'll just put you onto the next slide. Okay, so as you can see, the price was manipulated in this area here. 2 days later, they come back to the very same area, and there's a perfect entry for what would have been a buy. Okay, just by understanding what candle they're aiming for. So even when we analyze this price action, right, in the green circle, okay, just inside this green circle, we see that price rises at 8 a.m. and it even comes back at 1. Okay, so 8 o'clock was here, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. The New York session's about to open. They want to get in on the act as well. They bring price down into that 8 a.m. candle and it shoots up. Okay, so what I've just shown you now is a very basic example of just how price gets manipulated in a certain area and then they return to it a couple of days later. So again, what I want you to understand is that a transaction was made in this area. And this will also be talked about in a video I've got coming up next week called mitigation. So again, what you need to understand is this is where they've manipulated it, placed their transaction, and they come back a few days later to continue with that. Okay, so these times of the day are prime time for when the market makers are plotting their positions to hold for the coming week. This is why it's extremely important you monitor price action around these times of the day and begin to gain an understanding of what the market makers are doing. When you see which candle they are manipulating price from, and then it looks ready to make a move, it can be very powerful, okay? The massive advantage about this now is that we have a rough understanding of what time these trading opportunities will begin to take place. And believe me, that's a very powerful thing. Okay, we're just going to look at a few more examples now as we're going through the lesson. Here we have the London Open in our first yellow highlighted area here. So 8 o'clock, something's happened, okay? As you can see, price shoots down and then it gets a nice push up, okay? The following day, price retraces into this candle, and at 1 o'clock, the New York Open, right here in our second highlighted yellow area, price shoots up and we start to make our move up. So now we know that they've come back to an area, they've moved out of it, and they're going to go. They move up and it sits at a point, it's got to the night now, and the Asian session's running, not much is going on, not much liquidity in the market, not much volume. But again, London opens the next day and starts to move again. So again, it's just about understanding where the market makers have placed their positions in the charts. Okay, so as you can now see, what we can now do is put a time frame on when our trades should be ready to make a stronger move. This is why I monitor the charts every day around 6:45 a.m. and start preparing for the London Open. I am aiming to catch the market makers in the process of manipulating the markets. The keynote to make here is when a session opens at a certain price, this is where the market makers leave their mark. Monitor these candles and areas with the timing now to also think about, and you'll begin to see how price action revisits these candles. Okay, guys, so we'll just have another look at another example here. We've got on our first highlighted area to the left, London opens, okay? Price pushes up and it goes to a new area. New York then opens and it shoots down. So up here, what you'll learn to know is this is a buy to sell scenario. So basically, again, that transaction that I was talking about has been made in this area. So again, New York has a very good day, shoots the dollar down. It closes here. The night, as you can see, very stale, not much movement in the charts. And all of a sudden, London opens and we start to get a bit more movement. It shoots up to the area that they previously manipulated for what we then get a perfect sell entry. And as you can see, it all fits in the time as well. So again, you don't have to spend hours looking at the charts. You can monitor it at 8 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is UK time. And then you start to see these opportunities happening. Okay, guys, it's important to monitor the correlation between the London Open and New York Open. You will begin to see how they aim for these session candles, and we should plot and create trading opportunities from them. As always, use this as another confluence and start to add the other methods towards this information now, knowing roughly what time these moves will take off. Okay, guys, I've recently, over the past 5 years, been studying these markets and recently created this course for anyone that wants to learn about trading, how it works, and just basically how you can read a chart and make opportunities for yourself in this investment world. So again, what you will learn with me is how the financial institutions enter the market. You're getting a bit of that right now, but believe me, there's a lot more to it. How to create a trading plan, how to place your own trades, how to trade your edge over the market, which is probably the most important part to trading, and a lot of people don't even understand what that means. Risk management, okay, you need to understand how to protect your capital, how to not lose as much, again, having the right stop losses in place. And again, that's something that we need to go over. How to use TradingView, how to analyze the market, and like I say, just get your own trading opportunities. That's what I'm doing here. What you'll get with me, I'll spend 3 to 4 hours of mentoring with you like this on a one-on-one Zoom call. You'll get access to my trading community, early access to my market outlook video. So every Sunday and Wednesday, I look at a few charts. I tell you what I'm analyzing for the week. So you'll get that on Sunday night. On Wednesday, we'll kind of update of how it's going. You'll be getting homework set in, monthly tests. That's just for me to see that you're really understanding what I'm teaching. access to 10 hours of pre-recorded educational videos like this one that we're going through, access to my live trades, and of course, 24/7 mentoring support. That's what you'll receive. If that sounds good, guys, you can hit me up on Instagram. That's adstar10_FX. Okay, guys, let's get back into the charts. Let's have a look at how it all works again. We'll just look at a few more examples. So here we have 2 London Opens in a certain area. And now I'm using the other reasons plus the timing on when to enter the trade, okay? I've got a sell to buy scenario. I've got my 78% retracement, and there's a bit of imbalance that's been wiped out. Again, these are things that you will learn about throughout my course. Don't worry about them too much at the moment. So again, we have that area where they've marked it up. 8 o'clock has opened. Price shoots down. They have to go down first. Then price shoots up. Now I know that this is a key area where the market's been manipulated. So as you'll see, a few days later, price returns to that very same candle, that very same area. It dips into it, and then price shoots up, okay? This is how they place their moves. And if you practice patience on waiting for price to come back to these areas, and it lines up with the timing of a London Open, I promise you, you will then gain a confidence in your trade, which is not, again, something a lot of traders don't really understand. You need to know what you're looking at. You need to believe and have the confidence in your trade. Otherwise, you're never going to win. Okay, guys, so here's another chart. Here's something that I want us to look at. And I'm just going to kind of take you through what I'm seeing and just show you how these candles bounce off each other and how the sessions work. Okay, so we're going to start right in the top left corner up here. And this yellow represents London. New York is represented by the red. Okay, so what you'll notice is London opens here. After all the things that I've just shown you and how it works, London opens, they bring price down. New York opens here. It comes back to the London Open. It sits throughout the night doing nothing. Here comes London. We're about to wake up. Our economy's about, everyone's riding the subway and all that stuff. And it drops again. Okay, that's the impact that it had. New York opens. It brings it back up to where London opened. And we get the move again. Okay, now as you'll see towards the end of this week, price started to stall around this area. So we had New York opening there. London opened here the next day, New York there, and so on. So they've now kind of stalled in this area for a little bit. Here, as you'll see, they shoot up again, price comes back down, and eventually we rise to the area here where that London Open was, and we get perfect sell entries, okay? So again, it's about understanding where these trading opportunities can happen in the charts for you. Okay, guys, so this is a trade that I caught on the euro pound. Okay, I noticed that the London Open sold down to then buy up. So with that, I waited on price to return, and it did around the New York Open. So I took the buy from my blue marked area. What again, I just want to explain to you, 8 o'clock has opened, price went down. This is a 30-minute time frame. So 8 o'clock is here. This is 8:30. So as you can see at 8:30, I want you to understand that this would have been a thick black candle. And all of a sudden that selling pressure got absorbed and the buyers stepped in. Somebody stepped in here and shot the market up. So what I then done throughout the rest of that afternoon was, the morning, I was watching the whole morning, and I said to myself, if it comes back to my area around New York, I'm going to take the buy. Now, I think it was about 11:30, so an hour and a half away from the New York Open. What you will see here is price shot back to my area. That's fine. I wanted to then see if it's going to hold up in this area. That green candle next to it confirmed to me something's here. And then as you will see right on time, 12:30, 1 o'clock, New York opened, price shoots up. Okay, so what I started doing once I caught this trade was over here. Okay, so this is the trade. I started to just analyze how things happened the day before and so on and so on. So even when you look at the bigger picture, leading up to that trade, look how price on the 30-minute plays off these particular candles and returns to them, okay? Now, here's a key part to this lesson, a key tip. What is interesting about this is something I know that not a lot of people, not a lot of traders think about, is where the sessions close. Highlighted in the gray here is the 4 p.m. London close from the previous day. And I've got a brilliant analogy coming up for you here. And sometimes I get a lot of stick for this, but I think it's brilliant. What I want you to imagine is that you've gone out to the club for the night and you've put your coat in that cloakroom for £1, you know? So you're out, you've put your coat in the cloakroom, you've had a good night in the club, but you've got drunk. You've gone home, but you forgot about that coat in the cloakroom. So what I want you to understand the market makers are doing is they've just woken up and they're coming back to get their coat. So you left your coat here, price didn't do much throughout the night. 8 o'clock came around, you just remembered, shit, I left my coat. You come back to this area, price shoots up, and basically what they've done is come back to pick up their coat and continue with their day. I hope that makes sense. I do really, really love that analogy. I'd like to hear about that in the comments. If you'd like it, let me know how you felt it went. And score me out of 10 on that one. Yeah, let's see how it went. Okay, let's put our serious caps back on. Okay, so look at that candle. It's known as a doji. It's like a cross. Okay, notice how after the London session opened, price came back, tapped the exact point where London closed the previous day. Okay, like I mentioned, continuing with the day. So again, once I've noticed this in the morning, come the afternoon around that New York Open, you see price stalling in your area again. This will help you to begin to start seeing how these banks move the markets, okay? And it will just give you a sense of confidence. You need to have a belief in a certain area on the charts to then be able to take a trade with a bigger risk. Key tip, key tip, key tip. I read it 3 times, okay? Be patient. I did not just pull the trigger as soon as price returned to my area. I allowed price to confirm to me that it was stuck here, meaning they're about to explode, and right on time, New York pushed the price up. So again, you've just got to allow it to confirm your area and then take the trade. Okay, guys, so now you are gaining an understanding of the timing on when to monitor the markets for the best entry setups, okay? I had to learn this as I used to monitor these charts 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. And it came to my knowledge that this market keeps making these impulsive moves at certain times of the day. You do not have to spend countless hours monitoring like I did, but definitely be aware of the session's open and close times and keep them in mind when thinking about a trade. And of course, I get asked this a lot. Focus on the pound and the US dollar when applying this method, okay? And I kind of just wanted to show you how relevant it all is. This is happening right now. As we are speaking, this is the euro pound currently, okay? This happens so often and is still relevant in the charts today. This was literally the price action, like I said, today. Now, again, what you need to understand, 8 o'clock, kind of all the things I've just shown you. London has stepped in. They've done something in this area right to the top left of the chart. It comes down. It has a quiet night. And in New York, the next day, this would have probably been about 8 o'clock here, by the way. So that would have been the London Open. They shot it up. It came into the same area. New York has opened. Bang, it starts to drop down. Okay, that's fine. As you'll notice, a couple of days later, it comes to the very same area and we get another drop down. And as you would then see today, this happened this morning. Okay, 8 o'clock in the morning, it came back to the same candle as yesterday's New York session. You enter here for a sell. So what I've got with my black lines is a sell area. I've marked that candle. I wanted to see if it will come back. And there's the perfect sell entry. Okay, guys, so just a little task for you. This will help you get better at this. I want to see you mark up a chart like this and get used to seeing the different open and close times. And just literally get some practice with seeing this in the market. Remember, London Open, 8 a.m., it closes at 4. New York opens at 1 in the afternoon for us and closes at 9, okay? Mark up these candles and learn how price is moving around and playing off of these certain areas. Eventually, you're going to start to see a pattern. Guys, thank you for watching. If you like that video, you can reach out to me. Email me at capitalatrading@hotmail.com if you have any questions. Send me a DM, Instagram, that's there. That's adstar10_FX. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube. You can click the button here. I've got a lot of content coming out this year where I'm just trying to help people see how the banks manipulated these markets. Again, if you like that video, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of that analogy. And I'll see you back here next week for a lesson about mitigation. Very powerful. Check it out. I'm your host, Ads. I'll see you there.